Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 5th grade concept of generating additive and multiplicative patterns. This is 5.4c Readiness Practice, the Proficient version. If you are interested in exploring 5.4c for the intermediate or advanced versions, or the Readiness Practice resource aligned with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description. So we have a little scenario here with a farmer planting trees along a road. We've got a rule, y equals 3x. 3 trees each day, where the y is the number of trees planted and the x is the number of days. We're going to multiply 3 times the number of days. So on day 1, all right, let's complete this table. On day 1, what we're going to do is we're going to say this, 3x equals y. We're just going to kind of flip that backwards. And 3x, what that really means is 3 times x. So 3 times 1, 3 times 2, because our x is going to be the number of days. And so if it's 3x, you can just put 3 next to the letter x. If it's two different numbers, you can separate them by parentheses like I'm doing here. That also represents multiplication. So if we look at it like this, well, then it's a pretty simple series of multiplication facts, right? 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. You notice our days are going up by 1, which means our y's are going up by 3's. So here's our table. It's pretty simple. Now we need to plot these points. Well, how do we get xy coordinates? Well, remember, these are our x's right here, and then I just filled in my y's. So if I want to think of them as coordinate pairs, I could think of 1, 3, 2, 6, 3, 9, 4, 12, 5, 15, and then 6, 18. So we don't have a scale on this yet. We do know this is our x-axis. We do know this is our y-axis. And the x-axis is number of days. Just going to put number of days. I'm just going to put it off to the side. And our y-axis is going to be number of trees. So if my highest x needs to get up to 6, I'm good there. But if my highest y needs to get up to 18, probably going to have to skip count by 2. So let's just skip count by 2's here. And so we can use the same scale. If you really wanted to, you can skip count by 1's, make that your interval on the x-axis, and you can have a different interval on the y-axis. But typically what you'll see in 5th grade is you'll see them both at least using the same interval. But they don't always have to be. Sometimes you can see them slightly different. So if you made a different graph, that's fine. But your y-axis needs to at least have an interval of 2, or else that 18 is going to jump off the graph. You're not going to have enough space for it. So now that we've got our points here, we are going to just plot them. So I've got a 1, 3. Let's put that there. So my 1 and my 3 is going to actually be right kind of in the middle of that square. My 2, 6 is going to jump up here. And then I've got my 3, 9. I've got my 4, 12. You notice these are kind of going in a straight line. We're not going to connect the dots, but you can tell that there definitely is a line if we were to connect these. So that would be my 6 points. And then we need to figure out what would it be after 15 days. Well, we can complete the table if we want to, but remember it's y equals 3x. That's our rule. X is the number of days, so that's going to be 3 times 15. So we could say y equals 3 times 15, which is 45. For our second problem, we have a gardener that starts with 5 flowers, plants 4 new flowers each week. Here is our rule, y equals 4x plus that 5 that the gardener started with. And then how many flowers will we have after 2, 4, and 6 weeks? So we need a table and we need a graph. All right, so x, let's label these here. X is going to be the number of weeks. I'm going to put number of weeks. Also going to use that in a table here. I'm going to make an XY table, and I'm going to leave myself a little bit of room for an expression here. And that's going to be my rule. So x is going to be my number of weeks. And then we say my y is going to be total number of flowers. So I'll just put number of flowers. And that's our total number of flowers. So we'll say total number of flowers. Now before I put my scale on there, let's see what we actually start with. With our x and our y, let's see what that ends up being for 2, 4, and 6 weeks. So my weeks are going to be 2, 4, and 6. And our expression here is y equals 4x plus 5. So I'm gonna kind of flip that around. I'm gonna say 4x plus 5 equals, and then there's my y. So I'm just gonna take my 4, substitute that 2 into where the x is, and then make sure to add 5. So 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Now I'm going to take that 4, I'm going to substitute in my 4 for my x, add the 5. So now I've got 16 plus 5 equals 21. And then I've got my 4, substitute in the 6 for the x, that's 24 plus 5. And that's going to equal 29. Okay? So we've got 3 different coordinate pairs here that we would need to graph. All right, so I've got 2 comma 3. So I'm going to bring that over here, 2 comma 13, excuse me. I got my 4 comma 21. And then I've got my 6 comma 29. All right, so I'm going to need a different scale here because my last scale I skipped counted by 2s and I only got up to 24. So I'm just going to make it by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. That will at least get me what I need to get on the y-axis. 30, 33, and then 36. Now, the challenge with by 3s is what happens when you get an even number, right? If you were to get like a 4, you're going to have to kind of proportionally put that, between the 3 and the 6. And so that's just where the challenge comes. But ultimately, we can put it in our best position, and we can even label it if we want to, just so it's pretty clear as to what we think each place is going to be. So we'll do that. All right, so we get our 33, we've got our 36. Let's look at our first point. Let's go back to this purple. I've got 2 comma 13. So 2 is going to be between 0 and 3, and it's going to be closer to 2, and that 13 is going to be closer to the 12 than it is the 15. Okay, so I'm just going to put this right here, 2 comma 13. Now we've got a 4 comma 21, so it's on the other side of 3, and we can at least put it up on this 21 line. So let's put a 4 comma 21, and then a 6. Okay, we can put that on the 6th line. 6 goes up to 29, so it's going to be right below 30. And we can say 6 comma 29. So you notice that it is forming another straight line. And so we've got 2, 4, and 6 weeks. We've got our answers in a table. We have our answers in a graph. All right, so we have a plant starting at a height of 2 inches, and it doubles every 2 weeks. The relationship can be shown with this y equals 2x plus 2. All right, so it's the same type thing. We need to create a graph, and then we need to put in a table as well. And we're looking for the first 4 weeks. All right, so they don't give us the x values, but we can infer that the x values will need to be 1, 2, 3, and 4 because it's looking for the first 4 weeks. All right, so the x is going to be the number of weeks. Our y-axis is going to be the height. So let's do what we did on the last one. We're going to just make a table. And we're going to have our x. I'm going to put my expression in the middle. I'm going to put my y over here. My expression is 2x plus 2 I'm going to flip it around so that's equal to y. And my first 4 weeks are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll take our 2, substitute in our 1 for the x. So 2 times 1 is 2. Add the another 2, you've got 4. And so we're going to substitute our 2 in for the x. That's a 4. Plus that other 2 is going to get you a 6. 2 times 3 is 6. Add the 2 equals 8. And then we've got a 2 times 4 is 8. Add the 2 is 10. So you notice we're going up by 2's in the y since we're going up by 1's in the x's because we're multiplying each x by 2. So now we know that these particular graphs can hold up to 12 if we start at 0. And so the largest y value is a 10, which means we got space to just do an interval of 1, which is probably the easiest to do. So we can just do interval of 1 on the x-axis and an interval of 1 on the y-axis. Though if you did yours with an interval of 2, you wouldn't be wrong. You would just give yourself a little bit of extra work. All right, so we've got a value here of 1, 4. Let's circle this. So 1, 4. And we can go ahead and write that value. We've got a 2, 6. So here's my 2 and here's my 6. Okay, so 2, 6. We've got 3 and 8. So you see we're just going up in this line. And then we've got a 4 and a 10. And that's going to go from 4 all the way up here to a 10. We can label these two, and that's how we would put the values of the plant's height in the first 4 weeks with both a table and a graph. If you are interested in exploring the 5.4C readiness practice for the intermediate or advanced versions, or the readiness practice resource line with any other standard, you can find those by using the link in the video description.